wonderful edition of Heart to Heart. I am Dr. E. Today we are having a conversation with Kenya. She is a wonderful relationship coach, and we're going to be discussing relationship mistakes because, in our lifetime, some of us have dealt with a lot of that stuff. I've had mistakes, and if y'all have been following me for a while, you know that. That's why I teach about breakups, because I've had breakups. I've had all kinds of just craziness in relationships, dating homeless men. Like I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Okay, I just accepted it should be going now, Kenya. Y'all. And then from what I hear from people, because y'all know I'm a self-care coach for breakups. What I hear from people in conversations with clients, and when women and men, mind you, come to my workshop, it's even harder out here in 2023. I'm like, what's going on, y'all? Because people, especially down here in Atlanta, everybody is like, dating is ghetto, but it does not have to be that way. So that's the conversation we're going to have. How can we avoid these errors? How can we avoid these mistakes? How can we not do the same thing we did last time? Because that's how we end up back in the same relationship. It reminded me of that song, back, forth and forth. I don't know. I just thought about that song, because this is how sometimes it seems like a cycle. And if we don't listen to relationship coaches, we don't listen to what the lessons are telling us and teaching us, then we won't understand. Okay, I'm gonna get you in here. We won't understand what's going on. Y'all know sometimes Instagram, and I've been watching other people's live streams too, and it's been something consistent happening with this. But once we get in there, we're in there. And that's a beautiful thing, because sometimes in relationships, we get like that too. We get impatient. We're like, I want it to happen now. Why can't he do, oh, I hear you, but I don't see you, but I think you're there. Hold
You
on. Can
see
you see?
me?
No,
Hold on.
but can you see me?
I see you. I see myself as well on the screen.
So that is good. That's all I need to know. It's been doing that, because actually I was watching Kendra G's video.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you know who she is, the other day, and hers did the
Tell me.
same thing. So as long as you can see me, we are good.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. I
Oh,
love
well,
that lip color. How are you?
good. How are you doing over there on the West Coast?
Oh, this weather, we can't tell what's going on and what's not. It's supposed to be fall, but it's about 87 degrees out here. The sun is shining. I have my blinds closed right now because the sun would be all in our face, just giving us the sun kisses.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But y'all got, like you said, you getting kissed by the sun. Not so much over here in Atlanta. It's pretty chilly
Oh,
outside. So,
I
but
like
it has been
that.
like, right. I know me and you were talking about you getting down here to do
Mm.
some of your events. So let's start there. What
That's
type of events are you putting on, and what motivated you to do these events for singles, couples,
mhm.
everybody?
Oh my goodness. So I am the event planner of the family, of the friends, of the everything. I will give a theme party in a minute, right? And so when I started Kenya's Keepsake, it was an individual thing. I started out with one-to-one coaching only, but then after that, I was like, everybody needs to hear other people's experiences and, learn from them, or not just, it's always a teaching moment, but also learn from different experiences, because it's always kind of like the blind leading the blind. A single person will run to another single person for something, and then depending on their mood that day, it's just a whole bitter mess, right? And so you have to get a mix. So my first one was August 26, 2016, and I had 30 people there. Little old me by myself. I had a team, which I'm so grateful for, and it was some singles, couples, married people, people in situationships, but in 2016 that word didn't exist. And
Yeah.
everybody just and I come up with games. I would turn anything into a relationship game. I have relationship feud, relationship jeopardy, everything. And you just get to the takeaways from different situations, different experiences. And sometimes you walk away and say, oh, I'm not that bad. Or, you know what? There's that light bulb moment that I needed. And people that have been together for many, many years always still take away something from their partners for my events.
Okay, what do you find to be why they take something from your event?
Mm-hmm.
What is that juice? What's that golden nugget you sharing there? I mean,
Because it's interactive. I think that a lot of people, especially, let's just take couples for an example, and say cohabitating couples, they're living together. Sometimes they're in a routine. They don't really sit down and interact about what's going on within the relationship, because now there's responsibilities and it's just the day-to-day hustle and bustle. And so for me, I bring that comfortable environment. Of course, you have to have food and a little libations, because now we're really getting into it. Nobody's hangry, and now we're loosening up. But I also have teaching worksheets that I do. And so I always start with an assessment, whether it's the 5 love languages, your conflict resolution style. And then that's when the light bulb moment starts to get, because a lot of people don't know about those things. You'd be surprised on how many people don't know that the 5 love languages are out there. And so when
really?
it's so many, I'm going to say about 80% of people that I run into or come to my events, they do not know about the love languages and what theirs is. And so when I give them that assessment, that starts it off, because they're like, oh my gosh, this is it. And this is why things didn't work in the past, because he or she didn't speak my love language, or I didn't even know that I had a love language. And so those are things that start rolling with the comfortability of opening up to other people, especially couples.
That's just so beautiful, because you are just providing space for couples to have a conversation. Like you said, cohabitating couples, they may just only be talking about the bills or the kids or whatever. And they not talking about no love languages. They like,
Right,
we ain't got
yes.
no time to talk. We got to figure out what to eat for dinner, like, or whatever.
Yes.
Tell me, what was your own relationship like challenges or mistakes that led you to want to start doing events of this type in 2016?
Oh my God, that is a great question. And this is why, I'm Kenya's keepsake. And so what that is that I always want somebody to take something away. So that's what a
Mhm.
keepsake is. You take it, you put it away, you make sure you remember it and you treasure it. And for me, it started with my daughter's father. I grew up in a loving two-parent home. My parents were together since they were 16 and 18, and I have a brother. And again, I say loving two-parent home because people think when you say a two-parent home, all two-parent homes aren't loving. There are some absent two-parent homes there. So I always say I grew up in a loving two-parent home. Well, I got with my daughter's father, and it moved so quickly. It was right after high school. And because I grew up in a two-parent home, I thought I had to be there because I was now pregnant with my daughter. And so we quickly moved in together because I wanted that family. Of course, my parents wasn't going to let him move in. So we had to move out. And well, we didn't have to, but I needed that support because that's all I saw growing up, a two-parent home. And years went by, and I just was not feeling that love that I saw. There were absolutely no issues. I always have to tell that there was no cheating, no fussing, no fighting. He was very, very nonchalant. but we just didn't have the same relationship style. And we just were not
Mm.
clicking. We were not growing together. And we didn't have the same vision. And I think that that is very important for people when they get together, because in my case, it started out for the kid, right? Like so many other people. And also because of how I grew up. I have to be in this, you know, two-parent home. But as I started growing and people started coming to me in my corporate office with their relationships problems, their revelations started being my revelations. And so fast forwarding 5 years later, because I was coming up with an exit plan myself. That's the other thing. A lot of people don't come up. They just think they have to stay there. They think of all the reasons why to stay and not the reasons why to leave. Right? So I'm
That's
coming up with an
good.
yeah, I'm coming up with an exit plan. 5 years, I'm ready. He proposes. I said, "You have got to be kidding me." Right? Oh my gosh. So in true fashion, I start planning the wedding. I was like, oh
What?
my gosh, oh my gosh. Had a huge engagement party months later. Engagement party was in July. In August, I woke up Dr. E and I said, I don't want to do this no more. He was so confused. I didn't know why he was confused because we were not blissfully in love at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not. So, Dr. E, why I started Kenya's Keepsake was because I thought that that was the most responsible, peaceful thing to do, is to literally say, I don't want to do this no more. But oh, that was not the case. He gave me hell. He went on about his business. He, you know, did not communicate with his daughter or anything like that. I was so confused because I was like, I thought I did it right. I thought that there was no
Yeah.
fussing, fighting, no cheating, other traumatic things that people wait to leave. And so I started Kenya's Keepsake because I wanted people to unlearn those patterns. And for me, it took me 5 years to unlearn the fact that just because I grew up in a loving parent home, I do not have to stay in an unloving parent home because there was no love there. And so that was the birth of it, and that's how it started with my own journey, because I wanted people, you don't have to have collateral damage when you break up. You know, I really just wanted him to know. And that statement is true. I want people to say, it's not funny when people say, it's not me. I mean, it's not you, it's me. It was really me. I did not want to be with him, you know, and for whatever reason. And I just want people to just understand, because they realize it early on in relationships. They realize it a little down the line, but they wait for a cheating situation. They wait for a really disrespectful situation to leave. And you don't have to do that. I know I said a lot. Whew, but
No, no,
that's
no.
really how it started.
That was good because what you described is your parent relationship. You saw loving homes, so you were like, I want to produce this. But once you felt like this ain't it, I need to create an exit strategy. And I really enjoy you said that you were proactive about it. And I want everybody listening to understand when it comes time to break up, or if you're considering breakup, do some type of exit plan instead of being like you mentioned, saying, oh, this is over, or
Mm-hmm.
just calling it quits immediately. You do have to plan out some things.
Yes.
What do you what do you find is like one of the number one mistakes that people make? Is
Mm-hmm.
it dealing with breakups? Is it dealing with not knowing their relationship style? What is it?
You know, it's about expectations. And a lot of
Mm.
people believe that the number one downfall for relationships is infidelity or finances, and it's not. It's expectations, because we don't understand that each of us are individuals. So when we get into a situation, and we're not just talking about intimate relationships, we are talking about uh, family relationships, best friend relationships, any type of relationship. If you have an expectation, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because you are expecting that person to react the way you want them to. And so
Mm.
in relationships, when you get with this person, you are expecting them to know how you feel. You're expecting them to know that you like flowers although you told them X,
Still be
Y, and
no.
five. Yes. And and you expect them, one of the most, number one expects, for an example, the when the man is supposed to be a breadwinner. And
Yeah.
so you start dating a guy based on his money, and then the relationship goes somewhere. Say you move in with, you expect him to pay all of the bills because you expect, but you guys never really had that conversation, right? And so
Mm.
that's one of the biggest mistakes, is expectations that they have. And if people remove their expectations and just use their observing eye and knowing what they want, it's easy to filter that out. Because I believe in the beginning, and I say this in when I tell my story, the expectations that I had from my daughter's father, it wasn't about our relationship. It was him being a father. And a lot of people
Mm.
believe that I'm a daddy's girl. Everyone knows it, but everyone believes that I was comparing him to my father. And I believe that was his number one issue, assuming that I was comparing. But I just didn't understand how no one could not be a father. I wasn't
Mm.
comparing him. He just decided not to be one at all. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah, it's the expectation. So I expected him to still be a father, although I didn't want to be in a relationship with him. And that was my number one mistake.
Yeah, and what you just said, he might not have expected that for himself. Think about that.
Mm-hmm. And now it's funny you mention that, because later on, as I've gotten older, because you always look back in hindsight and things like that. And I say that too because we were young. We were young. We were 20, in our early 20s, 25-ish. And to him, it was a shock. Now, for me, I didn't understand, because like, how could you be happy? I'm not happy. Like, how could you still want to be here? But now that I think about it, yes, he woke up one day and I shook up his world. But for me, it was planned out and calculated. Like you said, I had an exit strategy. He didn't. I had one for him. I told him, I said, hey, you can go back to your mom's house. We can do this. And he was
Yeah,
like,
you had it all
I
lined up.
did. I did. So again, now that I think about it years later, I'm like, ah, expectations. See, expectations.
Is there, because I know you use music in a lot
Oh,
of your stuff, and me and you had this conversation. You love to dance and all of that.
yes.
Is there a song that you can think of that comes to mind when it comes to expectations, or something is coming to mind, but I can't think of it. I was
Mm-hmm.
wondering if you like it.
Oh, this is good, and I'm glad you put me on the spot like this, because Friday night I'm having
Right.
a karaoke mixer, and so it's based on relationship stages. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but there are 5 relationship stages, and I also coach on those too. But I want people to
Nice.
choose a song based on relationship stages, and so I can see how they will be put on the spot. Who, when you ask that question. But expectations, let me see. That is
I
good, because
don't
I know
know
when you first
a
came
song.
in and you was on a Leah back, forth. I was like,
Yeah, I was thinking about that song. Yeah, I
yes.
was like back, because that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what we do. That could actually
Yes.
coincide with expectations, because it
Mm-hmm.
describes it's like give and
Mm-hmm.
take. But what if you don't know that I am giving?
Right.
It's just this back and forth. It really
You
is.
know,
It's like,
the song that's in my head now, and I believe it's Mary J. Blige, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was on the soundtrack, but it's called "Give Me You," and it's like give me you, give me you, give me
uh-huh.
all of you. I don't
I know
remember what album.
that song. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe, again, expectations. I have to look at the words, but the core stands out is because you don't want anybody to. That's an expectation, to give me all of you. In relationships, we want all of our partner. We want them to be our everything, our best friend, our sister girl, our this. And I even had to learn that sometimes, because I'm very I'm expressive. I will say whatever. But sometimes I had to think like, he did not want to know that I get waxed this certain way. That was supposed to be his imagination. That was something I was supposed to tell my friend, And so you have to think about, and then there's certain friends you don't always want to tell them the nitty gritties of certain things. It's like, ooh, take that to your man, you know, go.
I know.
So you don't want all of it. Not it's I can understand the context, but I think the expectation is for you to expect that your partner should and can give you all of them, because you just can't. There's no way one person can give you all of them. They have to have some type of individuality, and that's important too.
Yeah, because you got me thinking about that because I just moved down here with my boyfriend. We had dated long distance for years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, some of that was due to the pandemic because,
Yes.
you know, stuff was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But even in our current living situation, because I moved in his house,
Mm-hmm.
I had to fix that mistake, what you're just talking about, saying, thinking he needs to spend all his time with me. I'm like, this man got other pursuits he wants to do. Number one, he works
Mm-hmm.
full time.
Yes.
So when he comes home, he don't need me all up on him like what we gonna do together.
Yes.
What I do, I give him space to do what he needs to do because he loves studying astrology and everything else. And of course he watched sports and all of that stuff. I let him, like that song, Give Me All of You. I don't want all of him. I
Yes.
actually want him to do what he needs to do to excel, to grow as an individual. Because one of the mistakes, because you're talking about expectations, but one of the mistakes that I see, like being a self care coach for the breakups,
Mm-hmm.
is we give all of ourselves to that partner and then we lose our own personal love. Like we don't even have anything for ourselves. You spending all your time with them, you're doing everything with them, you don't cut out all the other relationships. Even though your romantic relationship may be your priority, it should
Mm-hmm.
not be your only relationship. Can you speak about
Yes,
that?
absolutely, because that is smothering. Let's go. That is
Right.
smothering, and not only smothering, it's hindering. It's hindering from the growth individually that can help the growth together as one. And so that's where I feel that there's 5 stages of relationship. And the first one is the bliss. That's all the good stuff that you're going through, all the dating, the butterflies, and all of that. But right after the bliss stage is the power struggle stage. And in that power struggle stage is where what you're talking about comes in. Because now, you know, you in the bliss stage, you spend all your time together, you're not hanging up on the phone and all of that good stuff. But in the power struggle stage, now you guys are kind of tired of each other. Now it's like, you don't have nothing to do today. Didn't you want to stop by your mama house today? Oh my goodness, you don't even like basketball. Why are you watching it here, right? So it's like, well, you didn't have a problem in the beginning with that, and now you don't want to be with me. So again, it's very, very important to understand why you guys need individuality. And I think that that's where the mistake comes in, because you take it offensive when your partner doesn't want to be with you, or now you feel it's rejecting because you're like, wait, we used to do all of this together, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very much so important to, everybody say communicate, communicate. It's important, but it's an overused word because it's really about communicating effectively. Because every way of
Wait a minute.
communicating is
Wait
communicating.
a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta hold you right there. Say what you just said again about communicating effectively.
Yes, it's important that you have to use the word effective in front of communication when you're talking about how important communication is, because communication comes in so many different forms. If my man is sitting there and I'm talking to him and he's just nodding, he's communicating. So I can't yell, you're not communicating because you're not saying nothing. Again, expectations. I expect him to answer all of my questions. I expect him to tell me, and he's not doing it. So, but he's looking at me like, I said, yeah. But it's not necessarily effective because now I'm frustrated. He's frustrated. What do you want from me? It's effective communication. That is what is really the key.
Wow, I'm putting that in my notes.
Yes,
Effective community
yes,
because
You
That
know,
is so true. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I'm saying I'm all about tips and sips. That is what I do and give you the keepsakes. And so that's why I have my little notebooks here and my mug just in case anybody want to write. I want everybody to write down. If you when you those that are watching, write all of these tips down because again, these are the things that throughout the years and experience and what I built everything on. And that's what unlearning is because like I said, you be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And then, also comprehension is a part of that communication too. But that's another thing. You go ahead. I don't you go ahead. That's something
Well,
different.
like I actually studied communications in college. Like that's what I got my degree in. And that's why that when you mentioned effective rang true. Because we got to make sure, like the example you gave, he's sitting up, boyfriend sitting on the couch, he's communicating, no, 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 whatever. Or it could be me doing that. But is that effective? Is the point getting across clearly? Is your partner
Mm-hmm.
hearing exactly what you meant, what you said? Well, all of that, you got to ensure, because I will tell you, this is a little funny, but it's just something about communication.
Mm-hmm.
So my boyfriend knows I work my part-time job
Mm-hmm.
every Tuesday.
Yes.
But get this, I know one of the things I have to do is remind him because he picks me up. He picks me up from work.
Yes.
So I didn't get frustrated and be like, well, I gotta tell you every time. All I do is say, this is my effective communication. You
Yes.
remember I work tonight, right? So sometimes I just very softly, subtly just say gentle reminder because I know he forgets. And this could be for anybody out there. People don't always remember stuff, so you have to give effective
Yes.
communication about what you need to tell them. Because if you want them, like this situation, if I want him to remember to pick me up, why don't I tell him instead of saying now it's down in the argument? You didn't pick me up. You didn't show up on time. Da, 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
da, da, da. Like,
Yes.
okay,
And
like,
everything is not a big deal. That's what I want people to understand too. Everything is not a big deal. How detrimental is it for you to just remind him every Tuesday? It's nothing. That is nothing. And then because that also gives accolades to you for understanding your partner's style, understanding and not taking it personal. He's not forgetting on purpose. He's not sitting back like, oh my, I don't feel like picking her up this Tuesday. Why can't she? I'm just gonna. No, everybody. That's why I always say an individual is an individual. We have things going on, different times in our lives. It's one Tuesday that he seemed to forgot out of the 50 other two Tuesdays
there
just
you
because at that
go.
time, work, anything at all. And so that's why people, again, don't take it personal if it's not detrimental to you or the relationship. And that can be cute. I also come up with a lot of creative ways to do a lot of things too. You can make that reminder text message cute sometimes. Like I don't know, like remember this Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah,
could be
I
something like
got you. And
that.
it can even be sexy,
Yes,
put some light on it.
absolutely. When I get in that car this Tuesday night,
You
you
just wait. Like,
yes,
and then he's like, wait a minute, what we doing? I'm picking
exactly.
you up. Like,
He gonna be there 15 minutes early.
I'm there. Where you need me?
Exactly.
That's
And
so
so
funny.
yeah, it's it. So that's really good for you to just understand that about your partner. And again, not take everything personal and make everything about you. That's another mistake that a lot of people do too, is make everything about them. And it's not always about you because so much is going on in the world. And especially, I know a lot of women feel like we cater to men and it's all about men. But it is what it is, and that's what I say all the time. I'm very unbiased. I get on women when I need to get on women, and I get on men when I need to get on men. But men do go through things differently than we do. I'm never gonna say that anyone is going through anything worse or better than anyone else, but they process different. They handle things different. They hold things in it. We are softer. No matter how hard a woman tries to be, we are softer. And so, yes, if he needs a little more attention, if he needs some space when he comes from home, because it's not just what he deals out at work. We don't know what he dealt with in the traffic, coming to work, at the gas station, stopping home, if somebody tried to try that man and he just wanted to get home to his woman. We don't know. So if he walks in the door and it's like, you didn't take the trash out, or can I talk to you about something? Or you know what happened to me at work today?
Yeah.
It's about understanding.
It is about understanding. And you said something that's important, about understanding that men, because of course a lot of women gonna watch this,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
yeah, they are, and we're talking about men. Men do process things differently, and we have to understand that he is not your girlfriend. I know we hear this all the time,
Yes.
but sometimes we forget to, here goes that word again, to effectively communicate in that way, knowing that man is processing things differently.
Yes. And he's not interested in what my best friend did. He's not interested in what my coworker did. Now he might be, but a lot of guys, believe it or not, well, more believe it is, if it comes off as gossipy, a
Hmm.
guy does not want to hear it at all. It's
Yeah.
not that he doesn't want to hear about your day. It's not that he doesn't want to hear, but I know it's when we get excited. I'm guilty of it too. I'll be like, oh my God. And do you know? And then, do you know? But if it's like flowing in the conversation and how, if it sounds too gossipy, men are like, mm-mm.
Yeah, they gonna let's tune
Yeah,
out. Like I don't even want to hear that. That is
yeah,
so true.
yes.
Well, Kenya, tell me, when is your next event? What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so this Friday in the Los Angeles area is Keepsake karaoke. So, like I said, I love a music situation. I live by music, so many soundtracks of my life. And we are usually, I just do the regular mixer where we have interactive, I give games and all of that. But this time people wanted to sing with me. So I said, let's do it. So this Friday, it is on Eventbrite. And like I said, I am trying to bring the Keepsake Mister to Atlanta. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. I've had so many requests. And just on the road, Las Vegas. I'm also doing Las Vegas this week with the kids, college edition, because I have a 20-year-old daughter that's in college. She'll be 21 in a couple of months. Oh my goodness. And this is where it starts. Actually, I mentor children too. It starts in middle school. But when you get to college, you have so many children that are coming from different states and on their own for the first time, and they could get lost in relationships as well. So I think that's important for me to go out there and speak about them for unlearning and relearning their relationship styles too, dealing with it, especially in today's world of social media. It's a lot going on. So that's what I have coming up.
You're traveling, you on the ball, got Vegas, all of this stuff, and it's also magnificent. You're working with younger people, the
Yes.
20 something college age student, because that's where all of this stuff, you shared your personal story.
Yes.
That's where a lot of our relationship roots get started, not just from our parents
Mm-hmm.
too, but once we get out there on our own, we're living on our own, on the college campus, whatever,
Yes.
that age sets us up for where we're going to go, what path.
And
And
for
it
my
really
and for my
does.
daughter, I'm always, I never regretted for one moment the move that I made, because my daughter again grew up in a loving, supportive surroundings. I'm a daddy's girl, but she is a grandpa's girl. I get jealous sometimes. I came first. And my brother, her godfather. So, I'll never say that my daughter doesn't feel a way about not having her dad around, but I never bad talked him. But now in her adulthood, she sees for herself and she has the choice to make her own decision for a relationship with him. When she does that, I have absolutely nothing to do with, which is amazing for her. And I'm so proud of her for taking a different path and not allowing society of not having a dad or not growing up, because she grew up with a lot of love.
And that's beautiful. A lot of love, and you spreading the love
Yes.
too. As we end this conversation, y'all, this heart to heart, make sure y'all are following Kenya's Keepsake right here on Instagram. For those of you out in LA, y'all need to go to this karaoke event this Friday.
Yes.
I would be there because that's my joint. Carrie,
I
when I was living in Tennessee, I went to
uh,
karaoke all the time. Like
I
that
love
was me.
it. It is so, and yes, I'm gonna throw in themes. We're gonna talk about relationship stages because we can come out there and sing all day, which we love to, but it's still a keepsake mixer. You still gonna walk away with some
Yeah.
keepsakes.
Yeah, because you're going to give them them tips now. You're going to definitely leave them with them tips and sips, like you
Yes,
said.
absolutely. And so, if anyone here, your guest here, I'll go ahead and give them a discount code if they're in the LA area. Anybody watching it with discount code VIP, follow me. The link is in my bio. And for here, VIP, you get $10 off. I
Okay,
love VIP.
y'all hear that? VIP, get your tickets for the event because it's in your bio and it's
Yes,
listed on Eventbrite, correct?
yes, absolutely.
All right, everybody. This has been another edition of Heart to Heart. We will see you next time. And keep those
Yes.
keepsakes in mind, okay? All
Thank
right.
you so much, Dr. E. Have a great
Okay,
week.
you're
Oh, we got
welcome.
some.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.